And I think we're going to start. All right. Hello, everyone. As you can hear, I am still a bit sick. Danny here. And I have the lovely Sierra, and she's going to be talking.
Also sick.
Yeah, she's also sick. And she's also going to be talking about a bunch of books, the publishing, and then the after the publishing part. So I'm really excited to hear what she has to say. And I'll let her take the floor.
Awesome. Hi. This is the best that we can do today. And you know, we just show up as we can and bring our best, even when our best is meh. That's great. My name is Sierra Melcher, as Danny said. She and I connected because we are in similar spaces. I run a female-led nonfiction publishing company, and I've been in the business for 4 years. We're celebrating our 4-year anniversary this month. I'm also an author, which is how I got into this space. The company is called Red Thread Publishing, and we help people write and publish impactful nonfiction. And then so writing, publishing, and what we call impact is, what do we do with the book once it's out in the world? And there's a lot of resources. I'm from the US, but I live in South America. I'm in Colombia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where are you?
I'm in Berlin.
Awesome. Cheers.
And I'm American.
We are global misfits, and I love it. So there's so many resources for authors. Sometimes those resources for authors give maybe too much information, overwhelming information, and at the same time leave really important gaps in our understanding. So when I look at the space, we need help writing. We need help creating great, meaningful stories to share knowledge and reach other people. We need to create books, the container that helps us share those messages. And the thing that I see missing the most is what we call impact. Impact is so much more than book marketing. We want our books to get into the hands of the people we wrote them for. We want our stories and our messages to reach people. And at Red Thread, we talk about a book like a baby. So when you're writing, you are pregnant with a story. Sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's not, but you know it and you feel it and you know that it's in there, and when it's ready to come out, it will come out. And publishing is very much like birth in a lot of ways. I won't go into the metaphor in depth, but I can later if anybody wants the gruesome details. Then there's this piece that so many of us don't spend enough time thinking about, don't plan energy for, or have strategy about. And that is, now you have a baby in the world and you need to raise this baby. Nobody would have a baby give birth and just be like, good, that was fun, I'm done. But when we're writing a book, a lot of the focus goes into those first 2 parts, and we don't have enough space to think about, how do I want to show up for my mission, for my message, with my book as a companion? And whether you have a book already, whether you are in the writing process with Danny, whether you're still just dreaming about writing, but that's always a perfect time to be considering, how do I want to show up for my book? How do I want to show up for my mission and my message? There's just a few of us on here, so I'd love to know where you each are in the process so I can speak specifically to you since you are live on the call, and then we can go from there. Ideation, drafting, publishing, or already an author? Where are you in the process?
I'm definitely finishing drafting.
Awesome.
Yeah. Ideation part is done.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you. Although I don't feel yet like it's, done,
which is great.
But yeah.
That's great.
I'm still in ideation.
Awesome. Perfect. Hi, Christian. Welcome. Great. There is never a wrong time to consider, how do I want to show up for my book? Ever. it is super helpful for you to have a really clear audience. Do you have a clear audience of who you're speaking to, who you're writing for, who you want to be connecting with? Sort of a rhetorical question, but if not, it's really important that you, at some point in the process, you know who you're.
Yeah,
For example,
I feel like it's I feel like I need to remind myself of that
Right.
because sometimes it feels like I'm writing for myself. But
you can be some of your audience, and
Mm.
and we all almost always are actually a previous version of ourselves, a younger version of ourselves. Me when I didn't understand this, me when I was struggling with that, me when I needed an escape from. But for example, second book, this is probably not for teenage boys, right? Okay, perfect, fine. Your book does not need to be for everybody. This is my second book. It's called Date Yourself. It is for predominantly female. Anyone over the age of 20 something could find it relevant, okay? But the more you know who needs you, and so I'll drop into this again in a little bit. Anybody here hoping that they'll write a book, publish a book, get a movie deal, and never have to work again? I mean, we can hope, right? I won't say no if it happens.
You have to dream big. I read this saying that said, if no one laughs at your dream is not big enough.
I love that. I am
Oh,
going to borrow that and apply that everywhere.
I'm telling you, we only have one life to live. I mean, might as make it big. And if people are not laughing, then you got to make it bigger.
I absolutely love that. And I have a mean, pragmatic streak. So I will say dream bigger and have a plan until then. So
I believe that we are not meant to do things alone and we should be doing it together. And this is something that I want to make sure that comes out in my book, because I honestly won't be able to dream as big as I possibly can just by being by myself. And we are living in a time and era that we believe that doing things alone, I'm going to get ahead. Actually, you're not.
No, and we also, I struggled for ages with this belief that if I didn't do it all by myself, it didn't count. Okay. And so I definitely got in the way a lot. So I'm going to actually do things a little bit differently because there's a nice small group of us, but and I think this will be perfect. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to slow down a little bit, take a few breaths, and see if you can, in your body, feel the message that you have to share with the world. If you had one chance to give a gift to humanity, what would you want to say? This is a rhetorical question. I just want you to feel it in your body. Okay. Take a few deep breaths. If you want to put your hand on your belly or on your heart, do you feel this story, this message? Now I want you to bring your awareness to the people in your community, in your town, who need this exact message. They need this idea. They need this inspiration. They need this solace. Who needs that message that you're holding? Keep your eyes closed. See if you can see them in your mind's eye. Where are they right now? What are they doing right now? Where are they looking for the solution that you actually already hold? What are they trying to do? Where are they trying to solve this problem? Now let your awareness spread even past your community. Spread to your city, your state, your country. Who are all the people who need this message inside of you? I want you to realize that you are already connected with each and every one of these people. You are in the process of sharing your message, and they are in the process of seeking that answer. You have a bond, and we call it the red thread. So from your heart, your mind, wherever your message resides, I want you to draw that thread, connect with each and every one of these people. Sit with that for a second and just let it soak into your bones. And when you're ready, you can shake out of it and open your eyes. Yeah. So any reactions to that quick meditation that we just did? Did you feel something? Did you see someone?
Well, I had a lot of connections with teenagers because, like, the next book that I'm planning on writing gets really personal with things I dealt with when I was a teenage girl. And so, like, I already knew that this would be essential for that kind of age and let them realize, like, hey, you're not alone. This happened to me as well. And to be there for them and supportive.
Yeah. Anybody else? Thank you.
Yeah, I don't believe parents come into this world with a manual telling how to raise kids. And we as children, we grow in this environment with habits that we're not even aware of because we're just kind of given those habits. Now, if we can create better conscious habits for parents that could teach their children, I believe that humanity would be much more further ahead. I'm 54 and I'm just figuring out what life is all about. So my parents, it was an arranged marriage, and you know, there's a lot of fear that goes into an arranged marriage, and so I've been in 3 different countries. I'm in Berlin. I'm American. I'm from Iranian parents, so I have so many messages. But this one in particular, I want to share it with the mothers and the fathers.
Yeah. Okay. Christian, anything? Thank you. Okay. I'm going to move us on just because we are going to try and keep this brief a little bit. Your book is a container for your message. I think of your book like a gift-wrapped gift. You are sharing your message, your wisdom, your lived and learned experience with countless people that you very well may never meet. Your book can outlive you. It can outserve you. The effort to take your message from that heart, soul space and put it into its form of, yeah, okay, I put it into word, I put it on the page. It's literally a gift to humanity. I want you to keep your audience in mind. And then I always say that your book is not your product. Your message is not to commodify, but your message is your gift. What you're showing up for, who you're showing up for It's so much more than the $3.27 you can make from selling a copy of your book. And so when Danny and I first met, we wanted to talk about this because the effort of putting your heart and soul into a book form is so important. And like I said at the beginning, so many authors don't take the time, don't have the support or guidance to be thinking how they want to be showing up for that message and for that audience beyond the book, from a strategic standpoint, from an energetic standpoint, from a financial standpoint. And so I'm going to list a bunch of things, and I want you to just feel in your body, you're like, ooh, I'm excited about that possibility. Beyond the book, do you want to be speaking? Do you want to be coaching? Do you want to be consulting? Do you want to host retreats? Do you want to teach courses? Do you want a membership kind of community? Do you want to win awards? Do you want to be featured in the media or write for the media? Do you want to be interviewed on podcasts? Did 1 to 3 of those things spark for you? Anything that sparked for you, drop it in the chat just so that I have a sense. And so that you know, if some of those were like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Some writers never want to hold a microphone. Some writers are like, get me on that stage. Okay. There is not a one size fits all. There's not a right way for you to show up for your message and for your audience. And there may be even others. But as you are in the ideation process, as you are in the drafting process, and it's great if it's before your book comes out, but it's absolutely doable after your book comes out. Figuring out, where do I want to put my energy to pair with my book? Where do I want to hold my baby? Like, I'm having a Lion King moment holding up Simba to the light, right? Where do I want my baby to shine? Your book is a gift. It will reach people, but I want you to reach people too. And I want you to see the faces reflected back to you one way or another, right? Speaking, awards, retreats. I want you to, those people that we envisioned a while ago, because writing can be really isolating. I want you to get book reviews. I want you to have people say, that was so valuable. Thank you for sharing that message. I've changed my view of parenthood, myself, or parenting because I read your book. I am different now because you shared what you shared. And it creates this almost spiritual economy. If we are sharing our heart and our soul with the world, we need to get it back in some ways. So how you want to continue to show up for your message is really important. And I want you to be considering weaving it into your book. I want your book to include this concept that you will exist outside of the pages of the book, that people can reach out to you, they can hire you, they can invite you. Maybe there's a book club reader's guide. Maybe you will be a guest speaker. We can definitely talk about book awards, Danny, because I think it's such a great process for getting more visibility and another level of validation, which as we evolve as creators is also really important. But certainly the credibility and visibility, shameless brag moment. This is the most recent book that I published 2 summers ago. And this past year I won the Nautilus Book Prize for creativity and innovation. And I wasn't sure the book was very good, honestly. So Typo, The Art of Imperfect Creation, getting this book award not only changed how people see the book, it changed how I see myself and how I show up, continue to show up for my message. So we need not just to be giving this way. We need for it to be a flow. So what I wanted to offer you today is just a reminder that your book is a piece. It's a really important and valuable piece, but I want you to start conceiving of how it's a piece of a larger puzzle. It's a piece of an ecosystem where you're showing up. And again, forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce your name in Germany from Iran, Iranian parents. And you're muted, so I can't hear you.
It's hengame.
Hengame, almost. Okay.
Hengame. Most Americans say hengame, but it's
Well,
hengame.
okay, well, I want to try to get it close. Yeah. I loved your earlier comment of we don't have to do it all alone.
Yeah.
At all, right? And it's so simple, and it's so true, and it's so profound. And what if everybody on the planet really got that and lived like that? And what if your day-to-day was helping more people get that and apply that and break down all of the resistance and stories that hold people back from that, right? So when we're thinking about our book, we want to share our meaning and our message in book form. But I encourage you to really think about how you can keep it alive and how the sharing of that can help you stay alive too, energetically, spiritually, and yes, financially, because I have some authors who have worked with us who started being paid like $500 to speak, which is nice. But what if you're getting $2,500 to speak for the same hour, or $5,000 to speak for the same hour? In less than 8 months, somebody went from $500 to $5,000. I'd like to speak once a month to a room full of people who wanted to hear what I had to say and get $5,000 and maybe share a few of my books and meet 5 people in that community who I wanted to know for the rest of my life. I want to see their faces. I don't just want to give my book to the anonymous universe and trust. I will do that, but I am filled and I am propelled in this momentum of creativity and generosity by seeing people. Coaching and consulting, retreats, it's so incredible to dive deep into something with a group of people and watch rapid transformation and build deep community. It's amazing. Okay. Podcasts, all of these are different ways of doing exactly the same thing. I want you to explore what you're curious about, where you want to grow, where you want to challenge yourself, and how you want to show up beyond the book. Yes, so the question is, have you had a chance to speak on different events to your readers? And what were they, like the events? It's interesting. Sometimes the book helps me find the readers that helps me speak. Sometimes speaking helps me find my readers.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So
I would say
hello,
even.
you said.
And until we are Brene Brown, and until we are Oprah, until we are name recognized, face recognized, famous, both are super valid channels of finding your people. I'm going to tell you some of the mistakes I made. The very first book I ever wrote, this cute little thing called How Change Really Happens. I'm really proud of this book. It's tiny. It's amazing. I wrote it in 3 months, and I just ripped through it. But the day the book came out, I was pretty bummed because I went to bed and I was like, you know what? I didn't realize this, but I was pretty sure that all I had to do was write my book and that Oprah would call me herself, not even like an assistant. Like I was sure my book would come out. It's good. She will call me. And she didn't. Okay. This is not her fault. I didn't let anyone on her team know that my book was coming out. And I've made this mistake in a lot of different ways, thinking if I just put the thing out, then the people who need me will internet stalk me. They will find my email address. They will find my phone number. They will show up, come knocking on my door. It's not true. The people who need me the most do not have the energy for that. The people who need me the most need breadcrumbs, and they need it to be so dang easy. They need, do this, download this, click that. Here it is. It will be spoon-fed to you. I am available. Here's the next step. Here's the next step. I can't wait to help you further. They need that. And it was not fair of me to say, all I have to do is pour my heart and soul into 100 pages, and then everyone will come and knock down my door, because it's not true. And so to that point, sometimes we just put the book out and it's not enough to reach all the people who really need us. And so we keep showing up. The book helps us because it's a huge element of credibility. The book will get you in the door. Write a book? Great. One of our authors wrote a book and then applied for South by Southwest, which is a huge festival in Texas. Because she got into South by Southwest, she was able to request a meeting with someone really important in her industry. From that meeting, she got a $5 million offer to do her desired work. The book will get you in the door. So writing the book is really important. It creates visibility, credibility, authority. The root of the word authority is author. Your book is really important. And it's an easy, transferable knowledge thing. I can give it to you, right? But it doesn't have to stop there. So this is why I shared all these different ways that you can show up. I want you to pursue the ones that excite you. One of the things I watch authors do is look at all the advice, they see what the successful people are doing, and then they replicate that. Well, this is working for that person, so it's gonna work for me. And we torment ourselves. We're like, why is it not working? Find something that you're excited about, that you will be curious to learn about, grow into, etc. And then do that. It's great when a room full of people is holding your book. I mean, it's beyond great. It's incredible. It is a weird, surreal, wonderful, terrifying thing because all these strangers just read your soul. But sometimes you walk into a room full of strangers and you speak or you connect or you lead a conference or you teach a course, and then you leave and you all know each other and they like and trust and know you. And then they want everything that you have. And it doesn't matter whether they come in because they know you and they want more of you, or they come in and they don't know you and then they want more of you. But I feel what I'm drawn to share feels like my responsibility. And I just want you to maybe ignite a curiosity in you for beyond my book. How do I want to share this with the people who need me? So that's it. That's actually all I wanted to start with for today. How does that feel, Danny?
Thank you. I think that was very helpful and helped people see what is so valuable to do after the book is published, at that it's not like, oh, now it's done. Now I don't do anything. No, that's not how it goes. You still, like, I love how Hannah Olivia says that it's like you married your book and you're in a marriage and you don't just throw it away. And I like how you use the analogy of like giving birth, having a baby, and now you have a baby out there. You're not just going to wash your hands off and be like, oh, bye, baby. Good luck.
Right. I birthed you. You should be able to walk now. Right. No, the book needs to learn how to walk and stand on its own. And for it to do that, we need to do actually a couple things. For me, it was really powerful to think about it as 3 different amounts of energy that I really actually want to preserve. A lot of people don't preserve their energy and they blow it all out between the writing and the publishing process, which is why people are like, okay, I did it, I'm done, because they're burnt. But if you know that there's this 3rd trimester that you're going to have to run through. It's really helpful. And even in the drafting process, how do I want my readers to engage with me? You can sprinkle those breadcrumbs throughout your book, right? In my community, we do this. At my retreats, this is what I teach. Even if it's still aspirational in the drafting phase, you can build it and create the excitement where once you hit publish, once your book is out in the world, 5 years after the publish date, someone's going to pick it up. Who are they going to connect with? Who is that version of you? Direct them to that version of you. And your book will be out there in the world. You want people to find you. And so you're like, well, I don't do that yet. No, but talk about it like you do so that they can find you then. Because 20 years from now, your book is still in the world. Maybe keep the same website, keep the same email address. How do you want people to connect with you? Consider maintaining that path. Yes, of course, you will change, you will evolve. Maybe you no longer do in-person speaking, whatever. But you're creating an ongoing relationship with them. And so you will show up after the book is published, especially for folks who are drafting and in the publishing phase. It's really great to leave some of those breadcrumbs and invitations. Follow me here. Join my free community there. Consider, we're not hard selling at all. Never encourage that. Not like it's only $10,000 to come to my tropical retreat. That's not it. One of our authors led retreats for years for business folks, and she knew what she was doing, but she shared in the chapter, she's like, in my retreats, I teach this, this, and this. We do deep dive and we get this, and folks come struggling with this and leave with that. I'm going to teach you one of the things I teach in my retreat. And that's what her chapter was about. Do you know what happened? Because she framed it that way and because she shared it, the year her book came out, she made $70,000 more in her retreat than she had the year before. Because people knew she did retreats, they knew what they were going to get, and they signed up without even pushing. So I want you to be thinking about, again, who do you want to connect with? How do you want to connect with them? How do you want to be showing up for this into the future? And weave it in anywhere along the journey. That's just the very beginning. A lot more goes into it, as you might imagine, but there's so many ways we can. I just want to encourage you to really find what lights you up, because it'll be your time, your energy. Don't just do with what, like, I see Mel Robbins doing this and she looks successful and she looks happy and she's made this much and dun da 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 da. You're not that person. She's not that person either, right? Build a life that excites you, that supports the people that you want to support and shares the message that you want to share. Your book will absolutely be a fundamental piece, but I want to make sure that people aren't writing and then dropping their babies. That's all for now. Thoughts, takeaways, any questions?
That actually puts completely different perspective on the creation process. Like, it's an impact that you create that then can come back to you and enhance your perspective even further. So I'm glad I was presented to it. Like, Danny, by the way, I love your meetings on Tuesdays with other people, because they always like widen my perspective on and view on things. And with each person that comes in, it's always something new and something that I just didn't think about before. So I appreciate you, Sarah.
I'm happy to be here. We don't have to do it all alone.
And I love how you talk about how the book is about who you're becoming. So therefore, if it's a baby, then just be ahead of the game and start talking about. So that gives me a lot of imagination into the future. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Funny
Yeah, I
story
agree.
about
Mhm.
that. I was pregnant when I lived in Colombia when I was pregnant, and total strangers would walk up to me and they said, "Where's your baby going to school?" And I was like, "You mean my belly, my fetus? You want to know where this creature is going to school?" They're like, "Yeah, you should really get on it. You should like figure this out because waiting lists are long." And it's like, she doesn't have a name, an ID number. We can't get on a waiting list yet. And so while they were a little premature in their sort of thinking for the future, at the same time, some people are pregnant and start a college fund because they know that they will need to take care of this project to this degree. And if your book is your project, your book is your baby, we don't just give birth and have a baby shower and call it quits. How do we want to continue to evolve to show up for this baby? And it changes, and that's okay. You will change, the world will change. How do you feel about your book 1, 2, 3, 5 years later? But it's still your baby. And so growing with it and evolving into it, and just being curious to play into that space.
Cool. Thank you so much for speaking. And I'm so happy you were able to do it, even feeling a little down.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I might go back to bed now.
Yeah.
Christian has a
Great.
question, I think.
I I wanted to introduce myself to Miss Danny. Hi, Miss Danny. How are you? I told you I would. My wife, she's here in the hospital, and that I would try to make it to this video call.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I'm feeling a bit sick. I hope your wife's doing okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you all for showing up, because it's how we show up for our stories and our message, and then the people who need us. And that's the name of the game from
Yeah,
now and
absolutely.
forever.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think this is going to be a great video for very many people to watch on the replay, because I know so many people that they have no idea that there's these extra steps that come with the book. And like how you mentioned, a lot of people might just do the book, get it out, and then they just don't have the energy to do any more steps. And I think this is good for them to know the value of keeping it going and the reasoning for doing such a thing. And so, like, I've also talked about like promoting your book even before it's like actually a book. Like, start promoting about it when you have that idea. And the reason that I say that is because the people that are following you, your audience, they want to see you struggle. They want to see your wins. They want to see it all. So take them on the journey with you. And they're going to be like the first ones that want to buy your book too, because they were there on the whole journey with you. And so I love that.
Yeah, the same way that we announce when we're pregnant. I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book. I'm drafting. I'm whatever, you know. It's look, here's my first draft. It's like the sonogram. Look, here's the, example book cover. All of the things. It's this whole process, and you're absolutely right that from inception to completion is this opportunity to connect with those people. And there's so many opportunities. So thank you, Danny, for letting me join. Thank you all for sharing and letting us show up as we can.
I'm sorry, can I have just one last thought?
Mhm.
So I just got a feeling that, I don't want to announce it too early, not to jinx it or something. What do you think about that?
I think that's hocus pocus. I think that's just like, we get in our own way and we have so many fears and we go, what ifs, or these self-doubts and these things that we let get in our way and stop us. And that's why there's so many people out there that are aspiring authors, because they give up halfway through or at some point, or they just started going down the rabbit hole of editing and they're just like, oh, it's crap, it doesn't matter. You have to remember that the beginning, the start of creating this book, you are a completely different person than when you end. And it's like, we could be endlessly editing our book over and over and again, and it's never going to be that imaginary image of a book that we have in our mind, because we're always changing, and your book can't keep changing with you. If it does that, then it's never going to be finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never going to get into the hands of the people who need it.
Mhm.
It'll be perfect, but you'll be dead and they'll be dead and nobody will ever read it. Right?
Got it. Message received.
It is scary. One of the things, it's one of the scariest things, the editing process and the announcing that your book is coming out they're both totally terrifying. But over and over and over again, I've helped 60 books come out in the last 4 years. And the most profound reaction, authors always say, I was so scared to share, and I cannot tell you how much encouragement and love. They get overwhelmed by how many people are in their corner cheering them along, because you're doing the thing that so many people, like Danny said, want to do and haven't had the courage, commitment, etc. to do. And so people love on you so hard. And it creates that momentum. A lot of this is what we're talking about, is creating momentum so that you're not doing it alone in an isolated cell, that you are opening and sharing in a ripple, right? Our logo is a drop and a ripple. You don't have to change the whole world all by yourself, but you have to put it in your drop and let it reach the people who need it. So when you do share, I hope you post in Danny's community so that we can all celebrate you.
Okay, very well. Sounds scary, but yeah.
Yay, you can do it.
It's terrifying, but you can do hard things.
Yeah, I agree. I've proved it to myself recently. So yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So glad to spend a little time with you this evening.
Yeah, I before I met Danny when I started my community. So and I've been thinking about writing a book, but I thought, okay, I need to start a community first and then write a book. But then I connected with Danny. I was like, wait a minute, I really want to start my book. That has higher priority. That's how I'm going to get authority. And then the guys were like, you're closing your community? And I was thinking about closing it. And then I was like, wait a minute, I can just do both. And you know what? I'll just do my best. I mean, I know there's deadlines, 8 months and all these things. And I'm just going to be posting away and talking and doing stuff and edit out. Even if I don't hit my goals or something, I'm not going to be stressing about it. But guess what? I'm using, by announcing and talking about it, just to keep myself accountable. Like, I don't want to not be pretend like, okay, I got to do this on my own. Well, maybe through this journey, I'll meet someone. Maybe I'll do the book together. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just excited about doing things with other people. That's why when you do things with other people, you don't get stressed by doing things alone, overwhelm yourself. And then the next day you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't do this, whatever. I mean, we weren't designed that way. It's just that someone came up with the Industrial Revolution and told us we have to do things alone, but we don't. You get to choose how you want to live your life. And so just the more relaxed, I think we need to spread things that are when we're in the flow. If we're not in the flow, well, guess what? You're doing something wrong. This is how I think. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you. It makes sense. Absolutely.
Ah,
I wonder if you
okay,
can be in flow though all the time. Like I'm the opposite. I kind of when I need to focus strongly, I'm definitely away from the flow because the flow is effortless, and I don't think I can be effortless in that step. But that's maybe personal.
Actually, this flow thing is crazy. And I don't want to go into details about my life, but my flow was stuck. And so I figured out this is the way it works. And I changed myself 180 degrees. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that the more you go with the flow, which is effortless, it becomes more fun, the journey. That's at least my experience. And I've experienced more of well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of message I want to put out there. I honestly, everybody is my client, but I want to impact the parents the most because they're the ones raising their kids. And so if they can be in the flow, then their kids are going to be in the flow. And then it's just like, a snowball effect.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot of messages in my journey. It's funny how it all came together, but so maybe I'll write multiple books. Who knows? I don't know. Honestly.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Think big, right?
I know, right? Yeah, it's just kind of overwhelming. I'm starting a community. Now it's going to be paid, affiliation and doing these books. And so I don't know. What's going to happen. But hopefully, Danny, if this doesn't happen in 8 months, it will happen. I just don't know when it'll happen. Hopefully this year. Definitely. Yeah. So basically also, Edita, I don't have this strict time, but I need to create that time so that if it slips, because when I was working in the corporate world, there was always like a roadmap and a deadline, and then it never happened on that time. I mean, we at the end, we always had to shift it out. So if you have this mentality that it goes out a little bit, that's okay, then you're fine. You don't want to, like Sierra said, burn yourself out because you had this. Like the way we talk to ourselves is the problem. We need to be more generous and kind. And who knows, maybe you'll do it sooner than later. I don't know. I'm just talking like, this is how I want to live my life. So I haven't done anything yet.
It's actually very inspiring. I just don't want to start another topic because I know girls here are a bit sicklish, so we don't want to overextend them.
You can connect and if you have.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Danny and Sierra, for
Yes.
for sharing a new perspective with us again today and
showing up when you're sick.
Wisdom. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate this. Have a great day, evening, whatever time it is for you.
Excellent.
My pleasure. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
Good afternoon. Bye.
Thank you.